Hello and welcome again to this is gonna be D&D Daily, I guess. I think so. So far that's what feels right, and the little bit of feedback I've gotten, that's kind of what I'm thinking we're gonna go with. I'm Gregory. This is 1 in 20 D&D, and so this is day 2 of D&D Daily. First of all, I watched Talks Machina from last night, and oh my goodness, what a great episode. They had me rolling. It was the whole cast, which was really cool, and they're talking about like the first 46 episodes, session 1 through 46 of campaign 2 with the Mighty Nine. And everybody was in really good spirits, and they just had a blast discussing this and answering the questions. And man, they were just cracking jokes left and right. Really made me laugh for sure. Another cool thing, their fan art was pretty amazing this week. It featured Yasha and Courtney, Qurtknee on Twitter was the winner this week. It was pretty amazing, and very dark, but also beautiful and bright at the same time, which is neat. She had a really nice juxtaposition of kind of these emotions and imagery. So go check it out. And anyway, so that was kind of the first and foremost. That's what I got to check that out this morning. As I mentioned, Dice Camera Action. I actually started trying to catch up yesterday with a little bit of the DCA. I guess I'm on episode 112, which is funny because it's actually, they don't have it on their YouTube playlist. So like they have all their sessions on YouTube on a playlist, and maybe I'm not following the right playlist or something, but it's like it seems like it goes from 111 to 113. Which is bizarre, but it's on YouTube, so go figure. That's kind of strangeness. They're in the middle of getting they're getting like a group therapy session, which is pretty funny, and I don't know how Chris Perkins orchestrated that, but it was interesting and entertaining. I am probably like halfway through the episode, so I'll try to finish that up today and maybe start trying to get through, maybe if I can, maybe one a day. We'll see how it goes, and try to get myself caught up as quickly as possible. So tomorrow, of course, today's Wednesday. Tomorrow, of course, we have episode 47 with Critical Role, first session of the new year. That's going to be awesome. Again, they play it pretty late, so I generally tend not to watch it live, although I wish I can, and sometimes I catch a little bit of it. But for certain, Friday morning, again, that's going to be, right on my agenda. So, for the bigger issue, the bigger thing I want to talk about today, it's not an issue, but it's something exciting I want to talk about. Last night, I got to start a new campaign with some new friends that I made. I mentioned it yesterday, and wow, the session went great. It was sort of somewhere between a session 0 and a session 1. It wasn't like the players came with characters already created, so we weren't really doing specifically character creation. We did spend quite a bit of time talking about like backgrounds and stuff like that. We picked out factions. I helped them kind of talk through, deciding factions. I'm going to run them through a campaign, and part of getting the hook started and like why are these characters even involved in the first place, it's one way to make things, like to grease the wheels a little bit. It might provide them with information down the road. It might provide them with opportunities to, get assistance or, again, information that they need at, certain moments in this campaign. We'll see how it goes. But it's been ages since I actually got to sit down at a table and play a game, like face to face with people. And man, I just had a great time. Now, I'm running the game, of course, so maybe not quite as much fun as being a player. I absolutely love being a player, But I'm really starting to enjoy running the games, being the DM. It's a totally different experience for me. I've been doing it for a while. My Wednesday night game, like tonight's game, we do on Roll20, and I'm enjoying that. It's been a challenge, and at the same time, it's been a lot of fun. I'm pretty stoked. I've actually made, and I need to do more. I've done some, like, I think I've done a few videos about, like, being a better DM, and I probably will do another one of those soon, because I feel like I've made a lot of progress since we're about to record session 50, episode 50 of our Roll20 game. We're sort of in the Princes of the Apocalypse. It's the Princes of the Apocalypse. I'm using the campaign guide and basically running them through that. But there's other stuff going on that's not really related to the Princes of the Apocalypse, because it's sort of in my own realm, which is still on Faerun, but it's sort of like a little kingdom that I created and inserted into the realms. So they're not technically in like the Somber Hills and Red Larch and all that, but they're still dealing with all the same elements. And that's what's the fun thing. That's one of the beauties about modules and manuals and campaign guides and that sort of thing is they usually do a really fantastic job of making it easy for you to customize and personalize. And I absolutely adore that about what the content has been coming out from Wizards of the Coast, from Dungeons and Dragons lately. So that's been fun. And so tonight's game, let me finish talking about last night's game. So last night's game, again, we've picked factions. I started the group out sort of very easily into getting things rolling. How we figured out how they met, why we decided that two of the players' characters were recently introduced to each other because they both work for the same faction, which kind of made it easy. So they essentially got sent on a mission together. And the third, they were on the same wagon heading into town, and they are in Red Larch, and this is where we're starting things off. So we're starting from level 1, so it's going to be a really fantastic game, I think. Everybody jumped right into role-playing, which was super fun. Now, I do voices. I love doing voices, so I try to really energize and embody the NPCs in as much as I can, and it was really fascinating and awesome because the guys sort of did the same thing, whether they had intended to ahead of time or not. Got into like speaking in character, got into like, who this person is, and it was just our first session, and we already started to get the feeling of like who they are and what their personalities are, and so it's really cool. One thing that's going to be a challenge is that there's only 3 players, so it's sort of a very slightly underpowered group. However, because of their group dynamic, we have a fighter who is a ranged fighter, an archer, probably going to become an arcane archer. We have a barbarian who, coincidentally, is a finesse barbarian. He is a dexterous barbarian fighting with 2 weapons. So like a rapier, kind of like a saber is what we're thinking, like the sword that a captain or a general, some kind of, because he was a soldier, he took the soldier background. So think of that kind of a sword and a dagger, and that's like how he fights. And he's a barbarian, so that's going to be real fun to see how that plays out. And our third character is a warlock with the intention of being a hexblade. So another interesting choice, and so that's the dynamic of the party. So right now they've got no healing so that obviously poses a challenge both for them and me, of course. So I decided that right off the bat, because I don't want anything ridiculous happening out of the gate, I decided they'd each start with 1 healing potion from the beginning. It just makes things a little easier for them and for everyone, and from that point on, they're going to have to figure it out on their own. You know, they're going to have to amass some gold and be able to purchase their own healing potions. And hopefully that'll be enough to keep them from succumbing too quickly. So, great session. The guys were awesome. It felt really good to be literally sitting at a table and having that face-to-face connection. Everything went smoothly, and it was fun. We didn't have any combat. I thought there was a possibility that could happen, but we left on a nice easy cliffhanger, like a nice perfect transition into session 2. So I'm really pleased with how last night's session went. Tonight, I'm a little nervous about tonight. Tonight is going to be, again, episode 50 of the campaign I've been running for like the last year or whatever, more actually. And so we're going to be missing one of our players, unfortunately, which I tried to get all of our players available for the session, but we've put it off for a month to try to get session 50. Actually, I think more, like a month and a half, just to get session 50 with all the players, and it's just not happening. So with 6, it's tough. I don't know how people, I mean, if you watch Critical Role, appreciate how dedicated they are to playing that game and producing that amazing show for you guys, because man, I mean, obviously they have fun playing, but it takes huge dedication to be there every week without fail. So yeah, so we're going to do session 50 tonight. I'm sure we'll have fun. I have no idea where they're going to go, and that's part of the fun of being a DM. So I'm looking forward to that. Hey, if you got anything you want to suggest, I'm happy to check out new podcasts. I'm going to try to get myself into Adventure Zone. I've been putting it off, but I'm going to bear down and start listening to Adventure Zone from the beginning, because that's how I like to listen to episodes. But for my game, if you've never listened to one of our shows, just jump in anywhere, man. The last couple sessions that I have up on YouTube are really fun and funny. So, you know, our game, you can jump in anywhere. You can watch it from the beginning or whatever, but that's not necessary. But I'll try to get the latest episodes out as quick as possible. And hey, again, my Car Wars games seem to be a real popular thing, possibly because there's not a lot on YouTube. So I'm going to do more of that. I'm going to put more of those out there. Battletech, we're playing our second session of Battletech this weekend. I haven't put the first Battletech session yet, but I will do that rapidly. Again, I'm really trying to commit to doing one video a day. I'm going to do some of these daily D&D stuff, and it really should be like daily RPG, but you know, it sounds cooler to say daily D&D. So anyway, hey, thanks for giving me 10 or so minutes of your time. I really appreciate that. Like, subscribe, you know the deal. And until next time, keep rolling 20s.